Hello and welcome to the Phoenix Sim Sports Season 15 TCR Championship. And today you join us here at Laguna Seca for round 8 of the championship. Last week we were at Barcelona for round 7 and round 6 was Kailami. Mid-season break. Yep, we're back into it now. My name is Yanis and tonight I'm joined by Arthur, my co-commentator. How are you tonight this evening, sir?
I'm doing very good. Another race here around Laguna Seca. All the Assetto Corsa championships are pretty much lining up on calendar. We've had Tata's Formula Abarth cars here yesterday in a 45-minute race where we saw some contact. Then, just an hour ago, 2 MX5 Cup races, also with a bit of contact. So I'm hoping to see the same thing here in a night race.
Contact. Are we wishing for contact? Are we wishing for a crash? Maybe. I mean, it's exciting racing either way. And speaking of, let's go to the track, shall we? Let's see some action. Currently following Marcel Miku, who is standing in P2 at the moment, about to start his first lap. They've had one out lap now and will likely only manage about 2 or 3 flying laps. What do you think? How many laps could we see people get out here? Especially people like Marcel Miku, who are much faster than the rest of the grid.
Well, I personally think they're going to go for 2 push laps, then go back to the pits, and then again 2 push laps. I think they might just about have the time for that, I'm not sure. Or they're going to do 1 push lap. But I think we'll definitely see 2 consecutive laps at some point.
Absolutely. Unless they invalidate, as we see Marcel Miku do.
Yeah.
He gets out of the way. It's literally, all it takes is just that one little tap on the gravel and your lap time is gone. I guess depends on where on the track as well, where on the circuit you do that. I mean, hopefully you don't do it at all, but if you do, it might result in an invalidation of your lap time. But most of the time, it doesn't tend to be too bad when it comes to invalidating your lap time. I say that. We just see someone go off there at turn 6, that fast left-hander kink. That is going to be the prime spot for overcooking it into the right hole straight up before you get to the corkscrew, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a very punishing track. It's not gravel, it's sand, which really slows the car down much more, and there's no runoff. It's the curb, as we see Marcel Miku drift there, turning his Hyundai touring car into a rally car almost. Yeah, very punishing track. The only real exit where you're able to go wide is the final turn here, where there's a bit of AstroTurf, but it's still not a lot. He's going for his next lap. He did a 1:29.9, apparently a valid lap. I'm surprised it is, but yeah. I mean, we've seen him go wide 2 times that lap, so we'll probably see him go even faster.
Yeah, I'm looking at the gap to Iba Narashto, though, in P6 currently in the championship. He's set a lap time of only 73 hundredths slower than Miku. But then, of course, we have Penka, the current championship leader, showing us why he's the current championship leader, taking pole by more than a second, just over a second. I'm sure we'll see some lap times follow from him, but I'm interested to see whether Miku can pull together an even better lap time. Now, I realise we've kind of just jumped into this head first. I appreciate there might be some viewers who are maybe new to this. So just to explain the format for this evening and what qualifying is, we are currently 6 minutes into our qualifying session, which is essentially a time for drivers to set the fastest lap they can over the course of 1 lap. Obviously, they can take multiple laps, and then they order the drivers in terms of who's fastest to who's slowest, and that's how they start the race. P1 is the fastest driver in qualifying, P2 is the second fastest driver in qualifying, and so on. P1 being referred to as pole, and I'm sure there is a couple other names there as well. And then the race is going to be 30 minutes of non-stop action, no pit stops or anything, unless someone somehow bins it and decides they still have a chance after visiting the pit lane. I'm not sure we'll see much of that, though.
No, I don't think, repairing damage will really help anything, because it's only 20% damage, so not even the headlights can get broken in this race. So if somebody pits, it must be for a puncture, which I don't really see happening around in this race.
I mean, it's sand as well. It's not even going to be like gravel or anything like that. So when it kicks up onto the racing surface, I'm not sure how that might affect their tires.
Yeah, no, exactly. But Benka right now, the championship leader is still on pole with an 8/10 gap. Really looking to dominate this weekend since Marcel Miku was able to slightly catch up last race with a P2 compared to Benka's P3. P3 in the championship won last time around though in Barcelona with which was Tommaso Sorvi.
Interesting.
Doesn't look to be this race, I think.
Just chasing that crown. I mean, Miku, sorry to interject, well, while you do your research, Miku managed to improve on his lap time. He's now only 8/10 off of Penka. We've then got Narash as well looking to improve. We've got Tani as well in P4, 1.2 seconds off the pace, only 200ths shy of Narash. And there we go, Miku setting the pole lap time, now a full 10th and a half ahead of Penka. It's going to be all down on Penka for these next 2 laps. He's got this one and then one more lap in the tank to get it done, unless he's calculated his fuel such that he only gets 2 full flying laps, or 3. I think the last one wasn't really a lap attempt. It'll technically be 3. But we'll have to wait and see as he now makes his way through turns 10 and then 11. That sharp left-hander of a hairpin up down the main straight. I say up and down, it's because you go down the main straight and then you just go up the hill towards turn 1. Here we go, across the line. What can he do? He's a 10th and a half of a pole position. Miku took that a while ago, but he cannot improve. He's going to have to try and set that again. One final lap time for Penka. Miku, in the meantime, is currently making his way through turn 9. And we'll see that lap time come through shortly. The rainy curve, I believe, was called. And then into the final corner. We'll wait and see whether he can defend his position now and improve his lap time from a penultimate time. And then go on to his final lap of the evening. We've got Narash also making some progress. Tani not really doing anything. Day getting close as well to P4. Miku across the line, unfortunately unable to improve on his lap time. This is going to be the flyer, I reckon, and we need to keep an eye on Penka's lap time as well. Who do you see coming out on top here, Arthur?
Well, I mean, it looked like Penka there just completely cut the corner. I don't know what to say. I think that lap might be invalid, I'm not sure, but I can see Marcel Miku running away with pole here, and by looking at all of his starts so far that I've seen personally this season, I think he's also going to probably lead by turn 1.
Ooh, aggressive, is he? I don't know these drivers personally, so you're more qualified to
I've seen
talk about
3
their
race
attitude.
starts. No, I mean, the first status race was 2 20-minute rounds, and I've only seen one bad start of him. All the other starts were just perfect electric, right off the line, perfect amount of traction, and then he usually leads or just gets instant overtakes.
And I think that is qualifying over now with Marcel Miku taking the top spot. I believe he's won. I believe he's still yet to cross the line to set his final lap time. Penka, unfortunately, unable to improve. The only drivers really yet to set a lap time then. The final drivers are going to be Day, Narash, and Tani in our top 5. Miku comes across the line to finish his lap time. It's going to be slower, but that doesn't matter. He's got a pole in the bag for now, but here comes Day, P3 at the moment, half a second off of a pole. What can he do into this final corner in the Audi? Do you reckon he can beat Penka? Do we reckon he can take Miku on? We'll have to wait and see for another 50 meters as he crosses the line.
No improvement.
No, 29.6. We've then only got Tani yet to cross the line, making his way round the circuit. Now one of the final drivers set a lap time, a 1:18, heading into the braking zone for turn 11. Up the hill, it's gonna be close, but I don't anticipate him making too much progress. Maybe just getting past Narash and Day, but even that is gonna be unlikely, and it is unlikely because he's 1.4 seconds off the pace, and that concludes qualifying, I believe.
Yeah, it probably does. I haven't seen a Cooper yet, though. And I know BOP has played a minor role last round, so I don't know if they have fixed it, and I'm excited to see what happens because the Audis are getting closer to the Hyundais.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting when you compare the different race cars and their strengths and weaknesses, etc., etc. Because the Audi's known for being stable, forgiving. So you'd expect that for people just starting out. Their first time driving these cars. Whereas the Hyundai, it's got a longer wheelbase, stable at high speeds, good tire management. It's actually fairly similar, really. High speeds, I could see a couple high speed corners here, particularly turn 6, turn 5 as well when you get that early turn in. And then, of course, heading into turn 2, just that stability heading into the braking zone is going to be super important.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see also how cars will do around turn 4 because most cars it's flat out. I also think it will be for these cars, but once you're battling there, it's really all about who will get off the throttle first to make the corner because otherwise you go wide. Here they can afford to take the sausage curb there, but other cars and classes usually aren't able to.
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's amazing, really, how stable these cars are over the sausage curbs. I mean, even just going through turn 6, I've seen some guys take some absolutely horrific lines over the sausage curb, right over the center of it. And being a GT3 driver in ACC myself, that's it's something unimaginable to me.
Yeah,
And for all the
exactly.
open wheel drivers out there as well.
I mean, open wheel, that such a curb is a death trap. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that's very fun about touring cars in general. They're able to take curbs much easier than any other class. So that is one strength, and that's also a way they can easily gain time. Sometimes for rotation, and sometimes it's not even high enough to really bother the car. So I
Mm,
think
mm.
here we'll definitely see lots of uses from it, and hopefully no spins from it.
Yeah, I gave this track a go just the other night doing some laps in a Cupra, which apparently is the more nimble of the lot, and there's just a ton of grip available. I was actually shocked at how maneuverable these front wheel drive cars are, because usually, in my mind, when you think of front wheel drive cars, you think understeer. It's going to be massively heavy. It's going to be just this massive bus on the road. Whereas actually, you get your trail braking right, you get the car rotated, and you make sure you keep those gear shifts late. It actually ends up being very, very, very quite maneuverable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I dislike front-wheel drive race cars, the fun part is once you're around mid-corner and you can just plant the throttle to the floor and it just drives out so fast and so smoothly. It's at those points it's very enjoyable.
Mm, mm. And I guess just the stability as well, just the user friendliness, I guess you could say, of this sport in particular, this discipline. Yeah, it's something unlike any other motorsport, really. Because GT3 racing, it's all rear wheel drive. There's a bit of aero involved. There's almost zero aero. I could hazard to say that rear wing doesn't really do too much. And even when it does, it only contributes to the understeer and the stable characteristics of the car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I like about motorsports. There's so much variety and each car brings an entirely different challenge, and that's the
Mm,
fun part about it. I mean,
mm,
it's rare to see cars, for example, this track eat these sausage curbs, and I think that will really help the racing because it also provides more racing surface.
mm. Yeah, and it just allows for closer racing as well. If you're confident in your car and you're confident in the handling of the car, you're more likely to then make some more risky moves. You're going to be judging corners a little better or a little more aggressively, shall we say. We might see a couple dive bombs, especially down into turn 1. But really, what are we looking for on this first lap? 30 seconds to go until lights out. What are we going to be looking out for on this first lap? Where will all the chaos happen?
I think turn 1, I mean, the Andrade hairpin, technically it's not turn 1 there, but I think we're definitely going to see some very close moves there, and that will really be a fight until the corkscrew, and I think after that we'll probably have cars settled into position and getting ready to fight their battle.
Absolutely, as the 6 red lights come on. And it is go time. The TCR Season 15 gets underway here for Round 8 at Laguna Seca. It's been a good start for Marcel Miku. Victoria Day seems to be holding on to P2. P3 is going to be Penka. Seems as though they managed to swap positions there right from the get-go. Day getting a good start up the inside at turn 2. He's going to take the race lead here away from Miku right from the get-go. He's still alongside by the time they get to turn 3, though. Round the outside, if he can hold on to this, that will be a miracle. A bit of tire smoke, but he's done it. He's managed to stick that round the outside and hold on to the race lead. And now here comes Penka, and Miku is just dropping down this grid. He's down to P5 already as the grid then assaults him now and continues to drop this guy. More contact between himself and Nix, and he is now all the way down into P7. How has this happened?
Well, I must say, what a start from Vittori Day. The Audi driver just making it stick around the inside there and then just carrying on. We did see some contact with Marcel Miku there, but it wasn't that heavily. And down to P7, P8 even. I mean, it's a very rare sight as we see some cars go into the gravel there at the corkscrew. Not nice to see as Pankar championship leader. Still P3 and Narash all the way up into P2.
Wow. I mean, we only briefly mentioned them during qualifying. We didn't exactly see them really excel too much in qualifying, but here they are, currently up in P1 and P2, something we couldn't really have expected. What do you think went wrong with Miku's start, though? Like, something had to have happened for him to have that shocker of a race start.
Well, I think his start was actually quite alright, Yanis, but I think Vittori Day just had a much better start in general. As Narasto is down into P3 right now, and Alessio Tani keeping position for P4 after a very nice overtake compared to Mr. Scoot. But yeah, back to the first question, I think Vittori Day just had a great start and just beautifully claimed the inside line there, which ultimately got him the position.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one corner, isn't it? All it takes is that one corner to mess up the next couple corners, especially in that turn 3, turn 4 complex. The moment you lose the speed on the exit of the Andretti hairpin, turn 2, the rest of the corners are going to be messed up. Like, it's gone. Like, your lap time has then depleted. And as we see, you're then just up for grabs, everyone taking their opportunity. And as we said before, you know, the stability of these cars may be helping these drivers be a bit more aggressive on that first lap and make those overtakes. But now follows Scoot, who's in P5, chasing Tani now for P4, the closest gap on circuit really, other than Bellman and Marquis, as we see them absolutely sending it into turn. I love that car angle, well, camera angle I should say. Into turn 11 though, it's a fake towards the inside from Scoot. Not quite the best camera angle there, but it was cool nonetheless. Could we see Scoot making his way past Tani? I have a feeling he's going to do it.
Well, I mean, he's a very fast driver. He has racked up multiple wins in the MX-5 Cup. Despite joining late into the championship, I think he stands P4 there, I'm not sure. But yeah, either way, a phenomenal driver. And you know, we did see a slight drift there, which, you know, is very fun to see in these cars because it's also very fun to save. All you really have to do is not slow down, you just have to stamp the throttle and get a good angle.
I mean, the advantage is the front wheel drive, isn't it? As we see Marcel Miku actually now starting to make a resurgence. Currently in P6, he's just made a position on Piazza. As we see Scoot also going off that driver we were mentioning earlier. Scoot and Tani may be getting caught up in a battle, allowing Miku to draw closer. Of course, that is something that every driver needs to keep in mind whenever they are battling someone. As you battle them and as you go offline, as you force the other driver to go offline as well, that will slow both of you down and eventually bring you within range of someone like Miku, as we see Tani go off at the corkscrew. I think that's our first spin of the evening at the corkscrew. And you can see the damaging effects of losing this car. He's down to P8 already. I'm not sure he'll recover. But meanwhile, we've got Scoot and Miku now hashing it out for P4. 0.4 seconds heading into the final corner. We can also see Nix on Piazza in the background. I'm assuming he got that move done into the hairpin left-hander. What a position to make, but they're still side by side, I reckon, heading out of that corner. No, there's 0.3 seconds between them. Miku, I think he's going to make his way past Scoot, but it's then whether he can fight his way back up into the top 3. We've got 25 minutes remaining. Within 5 minutes, he's already made up 2 positions closer to where he started. Do you think we could see Miku on the podium again tonight?
I think so. I mean, it's clear that he has the pace. You can see that in qualifying. Plus, earlier on in an interview after the MX-5 race, he did say he was very comfortable driving in the night and he's not scared of going off. So I think he has a big chance to make everything work. I mean, the gap ahead, it's rather big, but I think he'll be able to make it stick.
I mean, he's made that position stick heading into turn 5, but they're side by side now through the fast left-hander. That could have gone really badly, but of course, being one of the championship contenders means your driving skill is unmatched, and same for Scoot. Currently, both of them side by side into the corkscrew as well. They've been alongside each other for 3 quarters now, heading down the hill and into turn 9. This is great racing, giving each other just enough space to exist on the circuit, yet still battle for that position. And at the end of it, Scoot manages to hold on, but as you said, that gap is only growing now. You said it was big, it's gotten even bigger. 5.3 seconds just a second ago. It's going to be getting even bigger if we see something similar here. It was a really interesting move, though, up into turn 5. Somehow he managed to end up on the outside of the circuit, heading into turn 6. Not exactly the ideal line. Heading into that corner with someone down your inside, that's going to be breaking up your momentum really quite easily. Where could he look, do you reckon, for the best overtaking spot? Well, it might be into turn 3 as he goes down the inside and looks for some space. He's got it alongside a bit of contact, both Hyundais. 0.1 seconds between them, no opportunity there. Well, there was, and he tried to go for it, but it got shut in his face. Yeah, it's going to be close. This is going to be a close fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he really has to pass Mr. Scoot, otherwise nothing can continue on in this race. Otherwise he will keep on bleeding time, and we do not want to see that as he goes side by side there onto the Rahal straight. As we see Mr. Scoot go onto the gravel and lose another position to Piazza. So unfortunate for him, but very good for Marcel Miku. Now he does have to climb a 5.7 second gap all the way up to P3, but I think he'll be able to do it.
I mean, he is, technically speaking, the fastest driver on the grid. He qualified in pole position tonight. Very much so, you know, 0.7 seconds clear of the current championship leader, Penka, who's currently in P2 and actually gaining on Day for the race lead as we head into, I can only assume, turn 6 as they make their way up the hill. And he's made that move stick up the inside, and I think he's taken that position. Yes, Penka up into the race lead. Here we go.
He's heading into turn 3 right now. Beautiful move around the Audi driver there, Vittori Day. He might lose a bit of time to Narashto now, I'm not sure, but we'll definitely see, as Penka right now really hopes to just create a big as possible gap to Marcel Miku, just to help his championship hopes.
I mean, doing the quick math here, 4.5, 2.1, that's 6.5. It's about 7 seconds between Penka and Miku at the moment. Of course, you know, Miku will have to make his way through Narash and Day as well. We've seen them, as you said, they've been fairly solid. So yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge, but I'm sure he'll, like you said, he's going to make it work. He's going to get there eventually one day. And then we've got Battle of the Titans on our hands.
I mean, we can already see Marcel Miku really starting to creep up on Narashto. I mean, I think it's only been 1 lap and he's already gained a full second, so in 4 laps time we'll definitely see him around Narashto, and then, yeah, it's already a podium spot.
Yeah, you're right, 3.6 seconds, but the gap between Day and Narash is also growing. Need to keep that in mind. It's up to about 2.93 seconds now. So overall, 3.5 add 3.5, that's 7 seconds still. 6.5 now actually. Still fairly similar to what we saw earlier, but it does seem as though he's gaining on Narash. And once he's got Narash out of the way, if he dispatches him quick enough, we could then see him close that gap to Day. But that gap today is also growing, as is the gap between the gap between Day and Penka as well, almost up to a second now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be clearer that Marcel Miku is going to finish on the podium, but it will probably only be a P3. I mean, we still have 20 minutes to go in this race, but anything can happen, but yeah, it looks unlikely. Both Penka and Vittori making no mistakes as of now.
We now turn our attention to this battle developing for P5. Piazza and Nix coming up on the rear end of Scoot, who's in P5, holding up that top 5 position. We saw him put up a stiff resistance to Miku earlier, but that didn't stop our current P2 rival for the championship making his way past, and a mistake from Piazza now allows Nix up close behind as well. This could get very, very interesting very, very quickly as they make their way up the hill. Of course, that little trip into the gravel trap has opened up the gap to Scoot. 1.1 seconds, but here they go into turn 1. Alongside they are, and Nix has got that inside line. Perfect braking, just about given enough space, but there is contact between them. It does look a bit sketchy heading out of the Andretti hairpin, but he's done it. Nix stayed cool and calm under pressure and managed to hold on to that position despite the contact as well. Really good move.
Also quite a bit of gravel usage there down the inside, which really didn't help. You can see the car bounce up, which always is a big killer of lap time and speed. But yeah, beautiful move either way. They both went for what they wanted, and only one came out victorious.
And now that they've had that little battle, we've got JO391 also making his way into the crosshairs, into their rear view mirrors, as we see Piazza now alongside with Nix. He's not quite done with that position yet, gets it done straight into the braking zone. That must just have been a terrible exit from Nix on turn 6 up that hill. If you get that exit wrong, kills all of your momentum, and that's exactly what we've seen here. And now that exposes Nix to the driver behind as well.
Great battles happening down there. I mean, they're all very close together to each other. I mean, further back down the grid, there's also some cars close. There's usually 3 battles in the series, which I find, so that's always very fun to watch. As Bileman makes an overtake further down the grid, and Nix right now down the inside.
Ooh.
He goes wide and loses the position, it looks like. Can he go back for it into turn 3? He's on the gravel. He goes for it. Does he make a mistake? Slight bit of contact there, but he is ahead as they're going towards the flat out turn 4. Side by side it looked like nearly. That nearly got ugly, I think, with J0391. So beautiful battles happening down there.
Oh, and it's still side by side between Jack and Piazza in turn 5. It's going to be side by side into turn 6. We've seen this happen a surprising amount of times, but actually Piazza does back out of it, and both Nix and Jack have now managed to make their way past Piazza, apparently the slower driver in this group. But that was just incredible stuff heading into turn 1. I mean, just barely alongside, overcooks it into turn 1. Obviously, then we had Nix come back, take that. It was Piazza come back and take that position, and then Nix just managing to stay cool and calm under pressure. Jack also trying to make a position around the outside of turn 3, and at the end of the day, it all happened such that Jack and Piazza, Nix and Jack managed to make their way past Piazza. But now we've also got Scoot being drawn into this battle as well. A 4-way fight here for P5 potentially heading up the hill at turn 1, but there is also something developing for P3. We've got Miku now putting up to the rear end of Narash. It's been a long time coming. It's been an appointment he made a very long time ago. 0.6 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that gap, because now we've got this 4-way battle between Scoot and Nix, Jack and Piazza. Piazza, of course, the big loser out of that whole interaction with Nix and Jack, but he might still have something up his sleeve. And actually, Miku's made that position already on Narash.
Yes, exactly. I think Narash, though, made a small mistake, because I saw the gap really drop down very fast. And honestly, right now I think we have a situation of Marcel, Miku and Penka just being on the same pace. And I don't see, Marcel, Miku really going up anytime soon. Vittori, they really dropped back quite a bit. But yeah, further down the grid, we really have a beautiful... Now it's again more of a 3-way battle for P5, but we just had a 4-way battle earlier, so it's very fun to see. They're all pretty close together. They're all keeping it clean. Sometimes a bit of contact, not much. I think it's safe to say that these cars were made to drive around this track. I mean, just the way they're able to take the curbs really helps it case against many other series who just spin out here.
I mean, IndyCar is the first thing that comes to my mind when I think Laguna Seca, which is, you know, fairly high speed, some downforce, and yeah, like you said, super easy to spin. Whereas here, these guys can literally just throw the car in and it rotates, as we see Jack now almost alongside with the Nix for P6. Again, as we were talking about earlier, something that we always mention, you know, every battle you take, you're losing time to the car behind and losing time to the car ahead. So you need to pick and choose your battles wisely. But when it's a three-way battle, the stakes are much higher because the driver behind is a whole lot closer than anyone else. 0.2 seconds is the current gap between them. Oh, but Scoot has overcooked it into turn 5. Here we go, heading into turn 6. Nix has got that move done before they get to the braking point, and now he can make his way up the hill at full momentum, but he's also overcooked it. Here comes Nix, and here comes Jack as well, and they've both managed to make that position. That is how easy you can lose positions here, by making a simple error on your driving line and your brakes.
It almost seems like every once in a while they want to test for the Hyundai Rally program, like going all the way onto the gravel and just continuing on. But yeah, very good to see that the cars are stable and don't necessarily lose that much traction there. Piazza has dropped back quite a bit from the battle though, but still the excitement is high. They're all pushing to their extremes right now, all for that sweet 5th position.
Yeah, the battle's still very much alive between Scoot and Jack. Nix and Piazza, they've kind of fallen off it a little bit. I mean, Piazza was a long time ago. He was kind of just a ticking time bomb. We all knew it was going to happen eventually, and it's happened. But Jack and Scoot, there's still some wild cards, and if they get too involved in the battle, we could see Nix make his way up there as well. But looking at the gap, Nix is losing out massively. He's just dropped down to 3.3 seconds very, very quickly. Actually, he's now in the crosshairs of Piazza. This old battle that we saw earlier overcooks it into turn 10, into the final corner. We go, the hairpin left-hander. Here we go, Nix alongside for P7, and there we go, Piazza makes the move and gets it done. I don't think that was actually turn 11, that was turn 5 as they make their way up the hill. Nix and Piazza still pretty much neck and neck heading into turn 6, and Nix does back up, but there's contact between them though, heading into turn 6. That's not where you want to see contact. But that has worked out just about as well as it could have, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, we could see Piazza flashing his headlights there in frustration, which I totally get. I mean, it is not the best corner to overtake at, and it's clear that he wasn't alongside too much. We could definitely see that his front tire was not even alongside Piazza's rear. But the issue is, it's clear Nix is faster. So they're gonna keep on battling for the entirety of the race, the final 11 or so minutes we're going into right now.
I mean, that's a third of a race you need to hold someone behind you. That's gonna be a tough ask. I mean, Piazza's already had a couple goes with him, and he knows how tough this cookie is. Jack and Scoots, could we see that battle resurge at some point? Could we maybe even see them battle so hard they start bringing Piazza and Nix back into it? I don't quite think so personally, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I highly doubt it. I think they're gonna stay battling. I think Mr. Scoot is occasionally gonna make a mistake, which makes Jack 0391. That's a handful. He's gonna keep getting closer. They're gonna keep battling. Then one of them goes wide or something. They're dropping back a bit, not too much, and it's just gonna still be on too much pace for Piazza and Nix.
No, I reckon you're right. But hang on,
yeah,
wait.
plus he's dropping back a bit also, so.
I was literally just looking at it as well. 6.3 seconds, and Nix and Piazza 0.3 seconds now. But I'm also looking at the gap between Miku and Day, currently 0.8 seconds. We'll keep a very close eye on that. We'll just see where these guys are at right now. Turn 10, that's where they are. Which means that Miku is probably going to be a whole lot further up the road.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Nix and Piazza are really taking all the track they want. I mean, both have made some mistakes going wide, which cost them quite a bit of time, but they keep going at it. They don't give up, which is very nice to see, very refreshing. As will we see dive home into the Andretti hairpin here? No, we will not. They just yield, which I think is the smartest move there. You don't want to accidentally bunt off one of your opponents.
Oh, there are so many good battles going on now as well. We've got Nix and Piazza, but then we've also got Scoot and Narash potentially happening sometime soon. 0.5 seconds between them now. And then, of course, we need to keep Miku in mind. 0.7 seconds. He's closing the gap as we see Nix and Piazza alongside once again heading into turn 5. That is very much over to the inside of the circuit. Defending his position like his life depends on it. Piazza, his exit is going to be compromised heading into turn 6. That's where it all starts. And into turn 6, we've already got Piazza and Nick still side by side. Nick's managing to hold on to that position somehow as Piazza is now 0.2 seconds behind it, heading into the corkscrew and still not quite ready to give up. We've also got Scoot happening. There we go. Over the corkscrew they go. Not quite there, but we've also got this battle going on between Scoot and Narash. I apologize for jumping around so much, but Scoot and Narash have just swapped the positions as well.
Yeah, further up ahead, Marcel Miku only 2/10 away from Vittori Day. I think we're soon gonna see a pass happen as he's getting closer. Right now he will probably have to yield for the next corner. Could put a pressure there. Or is he going? He goes for it and he made it stick. What a beautiful move. Very fast, and then yeah, Vittorio Day had nowhere to go really.
I mean, it didn't even look like he really fought that at all. It almost seemed like he lifted off slightly, heading off into turn 4. I guess he just kind of had a feeling that this guy behind, he's going to be a whole lot quicker than I am. And any kind of, attempt to stop it is going to end up badly for me. I mean, considering the gap he's got to Scoot behind, though, 13 seconds, that's absolutely massive. I can see why he'd like to keep that momentum going. If he can just get this overtake done quickly, and he knows Miku's faster than him, he lets that position go, he can then keep working on that gap, keep maintaining that gap to Scoot, keep a hold of that 13 seconds, because at the moment, he'll just grab the podium. He's happy with that. He can let the championship leaders fight it out for P1 or P2 if they want. A race win would have been cool, but there is a point at which, you realize, actually, this guy behind me is going to end up slowing me if we have this massive battle. And I think that's kind of what was going through his head in my mind as that overtake happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looked too easy for Marcel Miku there. I think Vittorio Day, best case scenario, he just follows Marcel Miku right now, learns a bit, and just, stays in that P3 position as we're battling again Mr. Scoot and Narash, though, around the outside. It doesn't work. No, he's sent too wide, and Mr. Scoot easily retains the position as we're heading into turn 3 right now. Nothing will really happen here as we're looking at the gloves right now.
Yeah, I think the idea there was to look at the driver, but because it's so dark, you can't actually see anything. And I think that was a rear view from that car. These camera angles are
like
sick. Oh, here we go. He's had a good run
there.
Heading into turn 6, still side by side. It's amazing how many times we head into turn 6 side by side in Scoots. He just holds on to that position for the time being. Narash is going to have another go later on. It's P4 at stake here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very cool to see the cars go too wide there. I think the only series where you can really see that happen is IndyCar maybe, but here they make it look so easy. While it's a very tricky corner, it's either minimal brakes or flat out if you make it correctly.
It literally is just chuck it in and send it.
Yeah.
Throw in the car, get it rotated, and then just floor it, and you're fine. I'm actually also keeping an eye on Tani, who's closing some ground on Piazza down in P8, half a second between those two now. And closing, another thing closing is the gap between Penka and Miku, actually. Remember earlier we were talking about the gap between them. We calculated it's about 6.8 seconds, 6-7 seconds, obviously, depending on the battles and whatnot. But really, they, Scoot and Narash, they didn't really pose too much of a threat or too much of a push to Miku. and now he's 4.1 seconds. He is closing that gap. Another thing that's closing is, of course, Tani and Piazza. Is this going to be Piazza losing to Tani and losing another position yet again? It seems to be that way because Tani is now around the outside, drops back. Piazza maintains that position, but for how long? Heading up into turn 5, we've got a lovely drone shot here. Around the outside goes Tani. That's going to be a tricky position to hold on to. And I think for now, this lap, that battle has concluded, unless we see some sort of error from either of them. Narash, though, also up on the rear end of Scoot. We've got battles up and down the grid.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, looking up at the grid, I don't think Marcel Miku has enough time to really make his pace work right now, but he really has put the boosters on and he's gaining time on Panka. I don't think he has enough time to really make a move work, except if Panka makes a mistake. I'm not praying on it, but it would be exciting to see.
Maybe final lap, final corner kind of move? I mean, 3.6 seconds in 4 minutes. How many is that? That's almost a second per lap, a second a minute, really, that he needs to make up.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, last week around with the MX-5s around Barcelona, it was Marcel Miku lost both of those races, sadly, in the final few corners there. So the series is no stranger to it, but seeing it here right now, it would be special. I mean, then Marcel Miku would come off of a double win here today, which, you know, always is very cool to see. Narash, though, 5/10 off of Mr. Scoot. Further back down the grid, Maverick losing a position. He's now down into P12. Lost position to Cupra while he's also in a Cupra, so I really think the Cupras have been nerfed. It looks like they're really the slowest ones, and if they're gonna do BOP again for the final 2 rounds, it should really help the Cupra, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking earlier about how these cars suit this track so well because of their stability. The Cupras are the most unstable cars out of the 3 that we run here at TCR in Phoenix Sim Sport, so it kind of does make sense that they're just not suited for this track. But as I said, you know, BOP should technically cancel that out as we see a potential move there from Taggart into the corkscrew, but they're almost side by side now heading into turn 9. This is going to be neck and neck as they make their way through. Samuel just about holding on there. Maki just about holding on to P11. Woo! That was close.
Yeah, it looked very, very bumpy there for Taggart, but he did make it through. I think it did cost him a bit of time as he's dropping slightly back right now, but luckily not too much. As Tani also getting very close, and Narashto overtakes Mr. Scoot for P4.
Oh no! Scoot's moving slowly, because that's Jack that's just gone blasting by. Let's keep an eye on the gap to Nix. Yet 12 seconds, and Scoot is now slowing to a halt. Something's happened to a P6 driver. I think it might be.
Did he run out of fuel? I mean, it would be very rare to see, but either way, Narashto right now on a season's best of P4. His last best result was P5, which was incidentally last race around. But yeah, very unfortunate thing to see happen for Mr. Scoot. I really wonder what happened there.
Oh man, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out at the end. Because we now only have 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this race. Tani putting some pressure on Piazza. They've all gained a position now. That means Jack is up into P5, Narash P4. And that gap between Miku and Penka still at 2.2 seconds with less than a minute remaining. Let's see, is this... I just want to see, are we going to see one more lap? I think we might see just about one more lap of racing here.
It will be very close.
It's going to be close. When they cross that line, it's going to be very, very close. But in the meantime, we can watch this battle developing between Tani and Piazza side by side heading into turn 1. Now the Andretti corner, and it's Tani around the outside. Piazza defending that inside line. It seems to have been a better line for Tani. He had a little more rotation that he could use on the inside of turn 2 there. Yeah, I think this is also another ticking time bomb. We're just waiting for Tani to make this move, unless he makes a mistake like that into the gravel.
Well, yeah, I mean, into the Andretti hairpin, he nearly had the perfect switch back there, but yeah, sadly not as Yeah, we're in the final lap right now. Benka going through the final corner, and now on the final straight, he's winning this race. Beautiful racecraft, not from Paul. Beautiful moves made all around, and yeah, Benka 53 wins and extends his championship lead over Marcel Miku, the pole sitter right now in P2, and Vittorio Day finishes off the podium with a P3. Astani, what a move that was into the corkscrew.
Woo! Final lap, desperation indeed. Tani forces his way through to P7. It's Miku and Day coming in at P2 and P3. Narash P4. Jack takes in an unexpected P5. Nix P6 is on the board for him. Tani, it's going to be a P7 on the cards if he can hold off Piazza, if he can get a decent exit, and he has indeed. Tani and Piazza cross the line in P7 and P8. What a battle to conclude that fight. And then it's only going to be Marquis, Bellman, Tagat, and Zgaderor and Garcia to cross the line. There's Marquis, there's Bellman, here's Tagat, Zgaderera a little further back down, and Garcia, the lone driver, down at 10-9. Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for these guys that we haven't really managed to cover everyone. I mean, we've covered some really good stuff up at the top and the midfield. I feel like we've kind of not seen too much happen further down the grid. So yeah, I mean, that kind of concludes the race now as Garcia comes across the line.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Garcia. He hasn't had the best of luck in the series, these last 2 weeks. So yeah, very unfortunate for him to be finishing last. And yeah, 3 DNF sadly. I don't know why Keith and Inferno DNF. Could be connection issues, we don't know. But yeah, very unfortunate for Mr. Scoot. I really wonder what happened there.
I reckon it is just fuel. It was that final lap and a half, or not even lap and a quarter. He was down by turn 9 and 10, wasn't he? It was so close.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I am almost always overfueling my car. Even if I have 5 laps left after the race is done, I don't care that the car is overweight. Better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Same here. I tend to overfuel 2 or 3 laps. So
Yeah.
I tend to be quite a bit slower because of that. But, you know, you just make up for that with pure pace.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's mainly in the Assetto Corsa Competizione in open lobbies where I just think, okay, yeah, that's going to be about the fuel I need. And then usually I finish with 3 laps still in the tank. So yeah, very unfortunate for Mr. Scoot.
Yeah, I mean, biggest disappointment, really. He was doing such a good job getting up there and maintaining those positions. And of course, you know, that one driver that we saw stand in the way of Marcel Miku so well. But yeah, unfortunately, the biggest heartbreak of the race so far. But then on the flip side of the coin, who do you think is the driver of the day? Who do you think was the top performer of tonight's race?
I'm gonna be very honest. Panka had a very great win, but I'm gonna nominate the man we're gonna interview here in a few seconds, Marcel Miku. I mean, he took pole, unfortunately dropped back quite a bit in the first lap, but he did manage to crawl his way back up to P2. So, Marcel Miku, you're here right now. P1 is where you start on pole. A very nice lap. Tell us what went down into lap 1. I mean, you lost quite a few positions there.
Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like the brakes just didn't work, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we could see a bit of contact. I mean, you had your usual great start, but then, you know, you did get overtaken fairly quickly by Vittorio Day. Then, yeah, a few more contacts and you dropped down. How do you think you managed to efficiently climb your way back up to the top?
I mean, it was a tough one. I mean, with Scoot especially, it was quite tough getting past him, but even though I did get past him in turn 6, which was a pretty awful corner to make a move anyway, and it ended up with a bit of contact, at least I think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you need to take every opportunity you can get, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that.
And I mean,
But I
what better
think
car? Sorry, I just realised I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
yeah, well, you can keep going.
No. I had nothing important to say. Go for it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, that scrap with Scoot, I think, cost me the chance to get the victory, and I mean, I'm absolutely disappointed for that P2 because the title chances, I think, at this point, I think they're done.
Well, that's very unfortunate to hear, but still, I have to say you were the biggest mover this race, if I'm right, and still very nicely done. And then now to my fellow commentator from the previous two races we had around Laguna Seca, Narashto, how does this season best P4 feel?
It was, I don't know, it feels like everybody else just underprepared, kind of, because my lap doesn't feel that special. But I think a lot of drivers just underperformed in the night conditions.
Yeah, still, I mean, you had some great battles, and in the end, a season best. I think Mr. Scoot fell out due to underfueling, which is unfortunate for him, but it did give you one step away from the podium. So two more rounds to go. One around Buenos Aires, a track which barely anybody knows, and then the season finale around the Nürburgring. Do you see yourself getting a podium there?
No, because well, it depends on who participates. Because if Panka, Marcel, and Vittorio are in the server, they are heads and shoulders above me in terms of pace. I don't know if Tommaso Sorbi is in the race tonight, or is he just a bit slow today, but I don't remember seeing
Yeah,
him close
no.
to me anywhere. But I think also
Tommaso.
Mr.
Yeah, sorry for
Yeah,
interrupting you, but Tommaso did not compete in this race. His
yeah.
second race he did not race this season, so I think Vittorio Day might be taking P3 in the championship.
Yeah, the Mr. Scoot, that was his debut in the TCR series, and these cars are way different to any other series. So once he gets used to these cars, he will definitely be faster. So I don't know. I think a P6 is basically what I've got this season, and a P6 is what I'm going to be aiming for every race if the aforementioned drivers all participate in the races going forward. But yes, you are correct. Mr. Scoot did underfuel because he had absolutely no idea how much fuel to put in. And there was a misunderstanding pre-race when one of the other drivers told him it's 45 liters, but I think he misheard it as 35. So he
Oh
was
no.
way short on the fuel load. But yeah, I unintentionally dropped back to try to have a battle, but he was very fast, so I think he will only get faster as the time goes.
Well, yeah, still a great race, man. Yanis, do you have anything else to ask these drivers?
I mean, how does the kind of dark conditions affect driving in general? Because I know it tends to it tends to mess with your depth perception, which then means, of course, you can't judge the distance between yourself and the car right next to you or the car ahead of you. It messes with your perception into the corner, into the braking zone. What are some of the factors that people need to be aware of when it comes to driving in the dark?
I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think regarding just night driving in general, I think you just need to be well prepared for situations like that. I mean, I know I myself have done quite a few runs in the dark, so I am familiar with the concept.
So do you reckon
And
that those couple extra runs in the dark then set you above the rest of the grid then? Because I mean, it seemed to set you up very, very nicely tonight.
well, I'd argue, yeah. Of course, I have no idea how everybody else would is compared to my levels, but I feel like it's more of a preference, really. Some people like preferring pure daylight, others prefer a darker environment. Me personally, I'm in the latter.
Oh, interesting, interesting. So it's kind of your strong point, really. Whenever there's a night race, you're going to be performing.
You could say that. I mean, it was tricky getting used to the conditions, but once the groove was there, it was just a case of follow it.
Mm, mm, mm. And Narashto, do you think it's a similar story for you? Do you feel you've been a little more prepared? And what goes into preparing for a race like this?
I think it's track dependent. I was so slow in Magione, which was the previous night race, because in Magione the braking boards are like on the outer side of the track; they're not on the ground.
Mhm.
So even though we have headlights, you can't really see the braking boards. So I was so slow there. But then here in Laguna Seca, like all the braking boards, all the markers, they are all on the ground. So even though the track is not illuminated, you still get to see like where you brake, and it's only corkscrew that's a bit of an issue, just because you're going blind downhill. So I think I got 2 cuts after 4 laps at corkscrew. So I have to be so careful in corkscrew every other lap after lap 4, because a third cut would mean a drive-through penalty. So yeah, it is tricky, but it's also very track dependent. I think if the braking markers are on the ground and very visible, then it's as clear as daylight. But then if it's the case of Magione, then it's a completely different story.
Yeah, so each individual track is going to have its pros and cons when it comes to driving, either at night or by day. As you've just mentioned, yeah. Are there any tracks coming up? Well, I'd say any tracks. It's going to be Buenos Aires next week, and then the Nürburgring after that. First, Mickey, do you find yourself thinking, I'm going to win a race at one of those two? Are you fairly confident heading into the coming rounds? Which one do you think you're going to perform better on? Yeah, give us an overview.
Buenos Aires, I've never gone around that course before, so that'll be a first.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nürburgring, I mean, I know the track very well. I think we're going to be going around the GP circuit, not the Nordschleife.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it will be the GP circuit. So, I mean, I've got a fair bit of confidence in driving around the GP circuit. I mean, definitely, I think victory is on the cards for both of them, but just need to make sure I lock in and don't screw it up.
Narashto, how about yourself?
I just don't like Buenos Aires as a circuit. It's too narrow. It's too ancient. It doesn't. I mean, maybe Hatters it might work, but for TCR and F1 and other, wider cars, it's too narrow and too Mickey Mouse. And I am very slow at Nürburgring, so my chances of getting a better result is actually probably Buenos Aires.
Well, I mean, sometimes your best results come from the most unexpected races, and there are so many other factors that also need to be considered. I mean, especially considering the fact that that Sorby didn't turn up tonight. P3 was on the cards from the championship. Now he's going to lose that to Vittorio Day. Anything could happen into these final 2 races.
I mean, speaking of which, I just wanted to ask, any idea what the current gap is at the moment?
It's
Let's see.
64, I think.
You
In
know,
terms
And
of points.
Yeah, the gap in terms of point between myself and P1.
So it was 50 heading into the race. There's a 14-point difference between P1 and P2. That would mean add 14 on to 50. Yeah, that's about 64 points difference heading into the final 2 races. I mean, still technically on the cards if Penka either retires or doesn't show up to a race. That could be a potential 50-point gain, and then you've only got 14 points left heading into the Nürburgring, and that's the difference between P1 and P2.
Yeah, which is going to be a double distance final as well. So double points, double distance.
That's exactly. So many factors that could still make it possible.
I don't think it's double points. It's only double distance.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's only 50 points.
I thought the finals were always double distance. Or double points, I should say.
Yeah, but when I ask Mav, I don't know when. I think it's only double distance, not double. I don't even know, because if MX5 does double distance, then when are we going to start TCR? So,
Later.
That's a good
Much
point.
later.
so yeah, I have no idea how it's gonna work in 2 weeks' time. But
We'll confirm.
I think Mav told me that it's not double points for any of the series.
Okay, so that means points are going to be a bit tighter then heading into the final two races of the season. But with a point system as it is already, 14 points is a massive gap between P1 and P2. So anything really could happen into the final two races of the season. So I still hold out for you, Miko. You can still do it. I reckon you can still beat him.
Yeah, but it'll have to be a miracle. and that's going to be a long shot at this rate.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
if it wasn't for what happened at Spa and Kyalami, I feel like I would have been far in contention.
Yeah.
But because those two events happened, I am now potentially losing it.
Yeah. I mean, Penka's just been super consistent all season, hasn't he? He's only had one race where he hasn't finished on the podium. I mean, out of 7 races, 8 races now, sorry, he's finished on the podium 7 times consecutively. It's his 7th podium running. Whereas, for you, you've managed like 3 in a row, 1, 2, 3, rounds 2 to 5. It's been a bit of a rocky road. Same really for you, Narash. So, although to be fair, you've had some really consistent results as well. Mid-pack, P6 all the way. Obviously, those final 2 races could be very interesting. Buenos Aires being so tight, and then Nürburgring being a bit tricky for you. I reckon into the final 2 races, you guys have got your jobs cut out for you. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'd probably argue, we've got our work cut out for us. In the FAO1 and the TCR division, the MX5, I think I'm well in the clear.
Okay. So it's not all lost. There's still some hope.
Yeah, like the MX5, I think I'm well clear at this point, but FAO1 and TCR, I am still on the back foot. So
Yeah, unless you disconnect from every single MX5 races, you have that championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we'll have to call it there. Thank you so much for joining us, gents. Absolutely stunning performances tonight from both of you. Miku, some good recovery runs, and Narashto, just absolutely awesome fighting with your other fellow mid-pack contenders. Any final words from you two?
See you next week.
not really.
Or Saturday, or Sunday, or whatever the next stream is. I think tomorrow they have, or we have ACC and LMU, so I'm not racing, but I'll be watching.
Races all weekend long, races all week long. Love it.
Meanwhile, I'll be out there gathering data for the next run. Because again, I've never driven Buenos, so...
Yeah, to be fair, if there's any track that you're going to need to research, it's going to be Buenos Aires. So yeah, I think that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gents. I know there are only 4 people watching us online now. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the end. Round 8 is now concluded. Arthur, what do you think of tonight's race?
Great race all around. I mean, lots of very close battles. All were relatively clean. The occasional contact, but it wasn't that much that it really affected anybody's race negatively. So I have to say, very great race. Very good victory for Penka for his championship hopes. But yeah, as we discussed earlier, Marcel Miku still in the fight, and I think you shouldn't give up, and you should just keep going for it.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it turns out for them in the next 2 weeks. And with that, join us next week here on Phoenix Sim Sport for round 9 at Buenos Aires next week. Same time as always, 9 o'clock PM BST or 8 o'clock UTC, I think it is. just after the MX5 Cup. So actually, you can then just stay on and watch the entire evening. We've got streams running all evening long. In the meantime, we've got some other stuff to look forward to tomorrow with ACC and LMU and some of our other championships happening as well. You can also get involved, join the Discord server and start racing yourself as well. Then you get to meet these guys on track. And in the meantime, I need to go get some sleep.
Good night.
See ya.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. Good night.